Okay. Before you try to kill me, just try to, you know, not kill me. Agreed? I'll take that as a no. Oh, well, my name's Fox tonight, so again, I'm Fox, and, welcome to... It's not a review, it's not a vlog, it's not a theory, so... Vlog, I guess? I have no idea. But, this is something I kind of started thinking about, and it kind of makes sense, a little bit of sense to me, and I have no idea where this is going to go, FYI, but, that Star vs. the Forces of Evil and Invader Zim kind of have a lot in common, and also, Invader Zim, I think, is kind of doing it a little bit better than Star vs. And I'll explain. For the setup for one, both of their setups are kind of very similar. Both of them are sent to Earth for a mission, basically. Star is sent to Earth to, you know, learn to use magic and fight evil and stuff like that. While Zim is sent to the planet to conquer the planet. Both of them are sent to this world because they're somewhat unwanted on their own planet or their own dimension. Both of them are sent by higher-ups who are kind of... Well, one, Star is her parents. In Zim's case, it's his higher-ups, the rulers of his planet. So, kind of in a sense, his parents. Both of them giving check-in reports to their leaders every so often. Though, in Star's case, she doesn't want anything. She doesn't really want to call her mom or stuff like that. While Zim wants to call the tallest and everything, call his leaders. You have similar, say similar, but like kind of with a similar thing where it's, you know, you have Earth, you have adventures on Earth, adventures where they are, you know, just there. Then you have the adventures, you know, in outer space or in alternate dimensions, alternate timelines and stuff like that. And that's where I say, and like I said, like, yeah, there are some giant differences. Again, Star is just there to live and learn how to use your magic. Zim wants to take over the planet. But there are some similar keynotes, even at the point where both characters are, I don't know if I would say lonely, but when they come to Earth, they kind of get things that they never had on the other planet or world. Where Star, she has, well, I don't know, they never really said other than Ponyhead, but in Star, she gets Marco. In Zim's case, he gets Dib. Yeah, Dib's his quote-unquote enemy, but if anyone's ever seen, which one is it? It's the one episode where Dib basically, it's a unfinished episode where, and you can look up the audio at least, Dib basically says that he's not going to chase Zim anymore, that he's going to follow science. And this then leads to Zim no longer having any reason to try to take over the Earth. It's basically, Dib is what kind of helps push him through, and they both find out they're not unhappy with each other. Basically, in the end, you find out they're both basically best friends, even though they're still trying to kill each other in the end, kind of. In the end, they're still best friends. And that's kind of a similar thing, where Star finds a best friend in Marco, and, you know, a little bit more, but Zim finds his, kind of like his first friend. And even so, like, there's even a whole thing about, like, Gur himself, like, that the reason why Zim never really tries to, like, destroy Gur, or, like, anything like that, or, like, you know, try to, well, at one point he tries to replace it with Mini Moose. But, and even then, it's not to destroy him, or, like, he never threatens Gur or anything like that, and it's mostly because that Gur is probably the only closest thing to a family Zim kind of has ever had. And it's a real cool read. It's on DeviantArt, and like this one person wrote like a whole little synopsis about it. It's pretty awesome. But in any case, what I'm bringing this episode video up for is because though both of them have a similar thing, and again, though I do love Star vs. the Forces of Evil, there is some episodes where I'm just like, and other people have seen these, at least season 2. Some people have seen season 2, and they've had some similar problems where it's like most of it's Star just effing around on Earth in season 2, and it's just like, we have so many dimensions to travel to. Why are we just sticking here? And And a good case to show, because again, something with a similar plot almost, with at least somewhat of a similar setup, you have, that's done it very well, at least I think, is Invader Zim, where, yes, you will have the episodes where he's on Earth, where he's just screwing around on Earth with Dib and Gaz and all of them, where he's just screwing around. But then every once in a while, you'll have, every so often, like maybe the fourth episode every 3 or something, you'll have one that takes place in space, whether it be him driving Mars like a spaceship, or him getting kidnapped and taken to like his planet where he was exiled to for however years. Stuff like that. You have a balance of space adventure and Earth adventures, which is really good. While Star Versus, though in the first season they have a couple more, after that it's kind of always imbalanced. It feels, at least to me, it always felt imbalanced, where most of season 2 is more Star screwing around on Earth. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone can point out like how many episodes she actually does go to other dimensions, stuff like that. Maybe I'll rewatch season 2. But I always felt there was an imbalance in, like, even like a couple, the first episodes, like again the bike ride episode, or whatever. And even so, both of these shows can have random moments, and in a show, if the random moments are done extremely good and well, it one makes a great story, and you know, allows you to kind of have a lot more fun with it. Other things like, what is it, the bike ride episode with Star, where she just rides the bike, you kind of guess almost everything that's going to happen in there. You can at least almost kind of guess all of it. But Invader Zim, fudge, you can't even guess what Gur's going to do next. Oh, but yeah, like Invader Zim, you have more of a balance of everything. Whether you have a couple episodes where, I don't know, Zim puts a chip inside Gur's head and goes out into the city, and Gur has to lead them back home with the chip. But Gur leaves the chip at home, so now they have to find their way back home and get a job to save money to go on the bus and stuff like that. You have, even like when it is an Earth episode, it always is still like, okay, what the fudge is gonna happen next? And I don't know, maybe it's just because of the different writing and everything, and again, there are some major differences between the two shows, but in the, at least how I see it, in the core of both of them, they kind of really do have a similar thing. Even Invader Zim has continuity with itself. Like, yeah, a lot of their episodes end, like, quote-unquote, badly, but even in the end of that, you can always say, like, okay, they probably fixed it somehow, because they still remember everything that happened. It's not like they totally forget everything that happened. No, you can at least see, like, they never show them, like, quote-unquote, dead or dying, like, let's say, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. You always still see them alive at the end of the episode, and thus allows them to, you know, keep going on, keep creating more and more episodes, and still say, like, okay, this happened, and just, you know, they found a way to fix it, or something like that. And again, like Star Versus, I love the show, but it has an imbalance in a lot of it. And I kind of feel like maybe that's kind of because, and also, it is a Disney show, and they kind of Disneyfy a lot of it. I gotta watch Randy Cunningham, Ninth Grade Ninja, if only because if I'm right. The guy who does the art for Invader, or who did the art for Invader Zim, also did the art and everything for that one. And if you look at those two shows compared to each other, it's just like, yeah, this is the Disney show. This is balls to the walls. What the fudge? And I don't know. It's like, basically Star Versus, you would kind of say, is like a mix between the shows of like Invader Zim and, especially its first season, because that one has a lot of dark episodes, like Invader Zim and Adventure Time, where it's trying to do the Adventure Time of being giant and colorful and all this crud, but then also kind of be, you know, kind of have like the alternate dimensions, the bigger stuff. Like, I compared it usually like to Rick and Morty, you know, the alternate dimension stuff like that. And Rick and Morty, that's just beautiful. But Star Versus, especially how they're trying to do it, I feel like if they really wanted to try something more, the guys should probably watch Invader Zim. I'm not saying to go balls to the wall like Invader Zim did, how insane that show is, though I love it. I love the heck out of it. though how balls to the wall that show is, I would say kind of to look at it and again balance it out. Star vs. the Evil has a lot of potential to then just leave it on Earth. Just like, okay, we're just gonna do Crud on Earth again. It's not as fun. Like even like again, Invader Zim, even if they were on Earth, there was still at least enough funny characters and stuff like that, or weird characters, to at least make it extremely entertaining. Where like Zim trying to return a movie to a rental place. FYI, this shows how kind of old this show is, but it's awesome. And the thing is, too, at one point, this is just a little thing I just want to say. In one point in the Invader Zim, they say like, "Hey, record my show for me, Gaz." And I'm just thinking, "Oh, DVR." And they're like, don't record any of the old tapes." I'm just like, "Oh right, we used to record things on tapes." I'm an idiot. It's just like so long ago. But anyways, but something like that where like you could have Zim going to return a movie to a mall, to a Blockbuster in a mall, and then it'll be like an entire escape thing where he has to escape from this crazy military guy, and there's zombies and stuff like that, and it's just like, what the fuck is going on? And it's freaking awesome. And then let's compare that to, let's say, Star versus on the bike episode. She rides a bike, she can't control it, she rides it downhill, wacky shenanigans happen, and in the end it's like, yeah, we all did this or whatever. And yeah, it's all funny, ha ha. It's just like, there's not that much of like, it's not as, if you're gonna do it on Earth, at least have it more random, have it more something that like we haven't seen before, or just make it go balls to the walls crazy. And in season 1, you can get hints of that, which I like. You can get hints of that, like at least like, let's say, actually a good example, the episode where Star gets confused about the football team, like saying, "Oh no, they're gonna come and kill our guys," and she booby traps the entire field. That is a good example of Star being like, okay, yeah, you kind of get a little bit, okay, you kind of get the setup of what's gonna happen, sure, and you can that one you can still predict that like, okay, Star's gonna take this the wrong way, but at least then it's just creating balls to the wall with like giant cat tigers and magic and all this bull crap happening, and it's at least like, okay, that's at least entertaining. That's at least like something like, okay, I know the setup, but the payoff is just freaking hilarious. And stuff like that. Seeing stuff like that at least keeps things moving and makes it a lot more fun, other than some episodes where it's just like, eh. And again, season 2 has a couple of those episodes. Maybe if I rewatch it, I'll get a better, maybe I'll be totally wrong, but again, so far as I can remember, it's kind of just, eh. When, again, Invader Zim, at least any episode that they had where he was on Earth, it was at least balls to the walls crazy. It was imaginative. It was ballistic. When Star vs. the Evil, some of those episodes, it feels like Disney's like, alright, you know these sitcom shows? Yeah, we want you to make kind of that, but add a little bit of Star versus to it. And that's about it. And it's just like, no. Let's have those Earth things, yeah, but let's just have it balls to the walls crazy. Like, another good example would probably be the one where, Star breaks the freaking possum, and everyone's just like, and they all just go balls to the walls crazy there. It's just like, have it to where it's more, and have it to where if you're gonna have it on Earth, make it weird. Make it weird, or at least make it extremely entertaining, or at least show like how Star can change this world and make it a little bit more crazier, which sometimes you do see that. But again, I have to rewatch season 2, but season 2 really didn't feel as crazy, as good as it could have been. Especially for season 2, where we could have explored more time, more dimensions, more stuff like that. Where again, like Invader Zim, like every so often you get outside into space, and then like you just start going balls to the wall outside in space. You go to all these different, you go to freaking Shylock place, stuff like that. Season 3, they were really picking it up, and yeah, bringing up a canceled show, saying like, oh, they did it better. You also got to remember, this is a show that came out around 2003, where tastes were a little bit different. I feel like if Invader Zim came out now, if the original show came out now, where like the boom with Adventure Time and Star vs. and Rick and Morty, this show would be like up there by now. Like that's how this show feels. It feels like it could have been like the kid version of Rick and Morty, basically. And you can get some bits, like you can get some gruesome stuff in this episode, in this show. But in any case, I do love both episodes. But just I would say if you can go check out Invader Zim, and then compare it, because again, there are some similarities between the two. Yeah, there are some totally different things. Again, science versus magic, even though there's a little magic in Invader Zim. Science versus magic, and the main characters are somewhat different, but in the case, they are also kind of the same. They're fish out of the waters with personalities way bigger than the planet they're on, and they both kind of have a thing, and it's kind of also... And even so, you can also see where things are kind of going to. Even like kind of their futures are kind of similar, where Star is supposed to become queen, and Invader Zim, at least if I remember correctly, everything I read on the internet, is actually supposed to become one of the leaders of the Urkin race, his race. He's supposed to become a tallest. So it's kind of just like there are some very similarities that you could hit with each other. But there are still differences. And again, you can have, like, just replace dimensions with space, and you can kind of see, like, a little bit of the difference. Like, the otherworldly scenario for Star, it's dimensions. For Invader Zim, it's space. You can have that weirdness and the strangeness. Heck, they even have... Technically, Invader Zim even has, like, an episode where they go inside the mind of a character. Kind of similar how they went into the mind of the wand. So... Kind of, not really. It's not exactly similar, but still, it's just a really good episode. It's really good shows. Both of them are really good shows, but in the end, like I feel like Zim used him being an alien, him going to space and everything, way more than Star so far has used going to alternate dimensions and stuff like that. And you know what? Maybe they'll pull in Invader Zim, and season 3 will be one of the better ones, where we'll have way more go into these alternate time dimensions, seeing more of the battle, seeing more of what's going on, all these other worlds and stuff like that. Maybe we'll get more of that. Because again, like both shows have great potential, and I definitely want to see when the next Invader Zim movie is going to come out. I don't know if they're going to continue the series after the movie. I would love it if they did, because Invader Zim they could keep going for like. I think they could really do an Invader Zim pretty well and just keep on going with that. Especially now with like Adventure Time going down, regular shows already canceled and stuff like that or ended. You can so totally use Invader Zim nowadays. But and Samurai Jack ending too. But both shows are awesome. I would say go check them out. Star vs. Even though I do love the show. It does need some fixing. It does need some help. Though, mind you, when it does hit you, the show does hit you. Whether it be when Star has to take her test or the ending of season 2. Jeez. But even then, it's just still... It just feels like there are some great parts in this. It has great potential when it uses that potential. When it uses that potential, it really works. But when it doesn't, and just kind of goes a little bit cliche, fish out of water kind of thing, and start just screwing around on Earth, and it's just not that as big as it could be or as funny as it could be in some bits. It kind of just drags, and that's not the greatest thing to have. But either way, thank you so much for watching. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Am I completely wrong? Has anyone else seen Invader Zim recently and compared it to the Star vs? I don't know. But I already said a couple times that they're similar, so I'm not going to say that again. But in some cases, but like literally, it's going to get a little weird and it's going to get a little wild. Fudge. Invader Zim it's going to get very weird, and we're probably just going to stick on wild till all the way to the end. Till Santa Claus comes back, a mutant giant who's trying to eat you. Again, Invader Zim is amazing. But either way, thank you so much for watching. Whichever videos I've done, leave it on my face. Subscription buttons are right over there somewhere. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you later.